As I grant my men a moment of respite, I allow myself to wander through the streets of the Undercity, my ears attuned to the faintest whispers. The most accessible part of this subterranean city consists of a network of caves, where dark and clear waters intertwine, forming enigmatic underground lakes. With space at a premium, many inhabitants have adapted by building stilt houses and precarious scaffolding, defying the laws of balance. On the surface, the place seems peaceful, yet a sense of oppression creeps over me, as if something deep within those black waters is silently watching me. A shiver runs down my spine as I approach a group of specters. They know the region well, but their cooperation does not come free. A subtle exchange of glances and veiled hints makes it clear that a bit of dross would loosen many tongues. After some well-negotiated dealings, they speak at length about the Undercity. By pressing them with questions, I learn that several violent gangs rule over these depths. One stands out above the rest, the Loaders Guild. If I wish to navigate this underground world without trouble, I would do well to earn their favor. However, trade routes are not particularly lucrative for now, and merchants do not yet trust me enough to entrust me with more delicate or large-scale deliveries. I decide to broaden my scope and negotiate 2 expeditions bound for the Crimson Gate, east of Tor'Zag's. There, I have heard some troubling rumors. It seems the Dragonlands has closed its borders. I also leave 2 of my men in the city, tasked with gathering information about Gravhan in preparation for my return. I entrust them as well with investigating a dwarf, whose presence here might prove intriguing. The crossroads. 3 imposing marble obelisks stand at the junction of the Emperor's Road and the Wind's Way. It is disappointing. Despite their towering height of 60 meters, they are nothing truly remarkable. The Crimson Gate is visible from several kilometers away, its blood-red walls piercing the apocalyptic landscape. In the distance, amidst the stormy sky, drakes patrol in wide, steady circles, their shadows casting strange, shifting shapes upon the dusty ground. The ascent up the steps is long and exhausting. As we draw closer, I make out the imposing silhouettes of drakes and dragon riders stationed along the ramparts and above the colossal gates. On the ground, entire detachments of men clad in crimson mail patrol tirelessly. One of them steps forward for a routine inspection, demanding the toll required to travel through Dragonlands. We are then escorted to the immense Mansio, where numerous comitatus are already gathered, an unusual congregation that piques my curiosity. Yet, I do not linger, remaining focused on my mission. I deliver my cargo to the merchants, and pleased with the transaction, one of them immediately offers me 2 new contracts, ones I cannot refuse. Arken and Tor'Zag's lie along a direct and easily accessible route, making these deliveries particularly appealing. I also take the opportunity to purchase an extra crate of coal bound for Arken, a modest investment that could yield a small profit. A small hall is open to those wishing to conduct business with the guard, while the rest of the outpost remains strictly off-limits to civilians. An elderly woman greets me. Her face is etched with years of experience, but it is her leg, or rather, the absence of it, that draws my attention the most. Amputated at the knee, it has been replaced by a finely crafted bronze prosthetic.
I'm listening.
I will need permission to enter the Dragonlands.
I'm afraid that is not something we are handing out right now. Recent activities of the Zarin Empire, activities involving marauding and espionage, as well as hostile arcane phenomenon concerning the winds, convinced the Dragon Lords to ban entry for all but those of hailing from our land.
I see her lean slightly toward me and whisper in a less strict tone.
These things never last for long, traveler. So sooner or later, you'll be able to visit the fair and mighty Dragonlands.
What are the patrol zones of your army?
Our forces are tasked with patrolling the Great Wall, all along the Dragon Steps and the fortifications of the Crimson Gate. But our duties were extended to aid the border guard in protecting our citizens along the roads to the north, since the Hills of Plenty belong to the Dragonlands. Other contingents of the Dragon Guard patrol areas as far as Salem, but we from the Red Brood rarely go that far.
The road to the west is experiencing heavy traffic, some of which is military.
That is true. The Windbelt and the Windway are crucial to trade activities in the region, especially in these tumultuous times. And so the Guard does indeed escort certain persons of interest, including trading comitati of the Dragon Lords.
Working with the Dragon Riders can be both lucrative and safe in the region. With them patrolling the area, the risk of accidental mishaps is significantly lower. However, I must be careful with my actions if I don't want to be labeled a traitor. Wonderful. I seize an opportunity with the Loaders Guild for a mission bound for Lumen, an unexpected boon that adds to my ongoing affairs. Additionally, the sale of coal in Arken allows me to invest in purchasing marble blocks, a far more valuable resource whose resale could prove highly profitable. Once again, I notice that the demand for marble in Tor'Zags is particularly high. Seizing this opportunity, I invest in another pack beast and hire a few additional men to secure 2 more promising deals. Once the guards are cleared and the goods delivered, a satisfied smile escapes me. Business is thriving, and in a short time, I have already tripled my initial investment. I meet up with my men at the tavern, where one of them shares an intriguing rumor. A dwarf is reportedly being held captive by the Loaders Guild. Immediately, I make the connection to Braxius. If it is indeed him, I will have to redouble my efforts to earn the Guild's trust and get closer to them. My decision is made. My next actions will be focused on this goal. All the more so, as my second-in-command informs me that Graven is still at his residence. The journey is interrupted for a few hours, as one of the carts suffers a broken wheel. This time, it was only material damage. Tonight, I intend to free some of my slaves and provide them with a salary. I do not appreciate slavery, and now that I have the funds, I intend to do what seems right to me. Once my goods are delivered, I speak with the client from the Loaders Guild and realize that after a few more shipments, I will have garnered enough of their attention. I take advantage of my time in Lumen to see if Mistress Kandake has any work for me.
Let's get some work done, shall we?
Do you need something for the project?
Timber and copper. I need them like yesterday. What am I going to do without timber and copper, copper and timber? Leviantis, why didn't you remind me?
Because you didn't tell me we need them, Domina.
Seeing a dispute break out, I quickly slip away to do some shopping. My reputation in this city is still not high enough, and I find myself forced to invest a large portion of my money in blue crystals. I can't help but ponder during my long days about what Mistress Kandake intends to do with copper and timber. As we arrive at Tor'Zag's, I realize that she never mentioned any payment, and I know that the requested resources cost a fortune. She also wants them as quickly as possible, but I must ensure a profit in case she doesn't pay me. People at the market are starting to recognize me, and a few merchants nod in my direction with offers. What luck! The Loaders Guild is offering a delivery to Arken, which I eagerly accept.
Do you think we can trust her, Vagrus?
Why this question?
You didn't buy anything she requested.
I admit to having some reservations, but she seems to be a person of renown within the administration.
Something that doesn't hold much value nowadays. You're the boss, Vagrus.
As I was negotiating potential goods for our return to Tor'Zag Shelter, Gorgoro approached me.
This should be interesting, Vagrus. A man named Herman is looking for mercenaries. A beast seems to be terrorizing the region, and there's a reward at stake.
Through this hunting proposal, I can clearly see that Gorgoro is craving action, as are many of my men. I silently grant his unspoken request, and we head toward Herman's residence near the main gate. He is sitting in front of his hut, watching people come and go from Arken. Do you have a problem with a beast?
Finally, someone. Let me give you the details. It all started about 2 months ago when my animals began to disappear. 1 or 2 falling prey to wasteland predators is no big deal in itself around here, but then it became regular. 3 a week, 4 a week. You catch my drift. And then, just a fortnight ago, one of the boys tending to the flock went missing. Then another one. It's quite obvious to me that there's some vicious monster at work here. One critter that's got itself some mighty appetite for easy prey. I already complained to the town militia, but they won't do nothing. They are more preoccupied with guarding those precious marble slabs of theirs. I wonder if you were inclined to help me. A dozen silver is all I can offer, gathered from the handful of locals who are.
We accept.
Thank you, Vagrus. The last victim of the creature, whatever it might be, was a young boy herding some slarads. It happened about a day's walk from the northern city walls, at an abandoned quarry just at the border of Arkeros Forest. Maybe you should go there first to look for tracks and clues.
As competent as I am, I will need more men if we are to search a vast area. I also recommend hiring a few additional mercenaries in case we are dealing with a pack.
The quarry mentioned by Herman was not particularly difficult to find. The place was completely abandoned and still. After a few minutes, Renkailon discovered the spot where Slerad's shepherd had disappeared. Everyone remained on high alert and began searching for tracks in hopes of finding a lead. After a meticulous search, we uncovered several half-buried footprints left by a massive, multi-legged creature, along with a few fragments of chitin. A little farther ahead, the soft ground was slightly disturbed. At the edge of the hole, traces of a slimy, gelatinous substance exuded a nauseating stench.
No doubt about it, Vagrus. This is a Zern, one of the fiercest creatures in all of Zarin.
Renkailon follows the initial tracks and quickly discovers that the footprints lead away from the quarry, likely toward its lair. We push further north, venturing into the Arkeros forest, an expanse of thousands of jagged stone spires, their sharp tips carved by magical winds during and after the calamity.
Our best chance would be to ambush it using a small group.
We move cautiously, following Renkailon until he suddenly halts and points to a spot. There it is, half buried in the sand. It is on alert, but does not seem to have noticed us. Harvek and Gorgoro charged violently at the monstrous creature, while two knives thrown by Renkailon embedded themselves near its eyes. Harvek proved to be an excellent distraction, allowing Gorgoro to land a brutal strike. The orc narrowly dodged the creature's massive pincer, but Harvek took a vicious sting. Gorgoro was forced to retreat under the intensity of the onslaught. But this maneuver gave Renkailon and Harvek the opportunity to strike at the creature's flanks. As it accumulated more wounds, the beast grew even more ferocious, and Gorgoro endured several devastating blows. Just as the monster was about to finish off Harvek, Renkailon leaped onto it and drove his blade deep into its head, killing it instantly. I rushed to Harvek's side, fearing for his life, while Gorgoro ensured the creature was truly dead. I was stunned to see him still alive. Under normal circumstances, the poison should have already finished him off. Could it be a form of immunity granted by his semi-insectoid mutation? Anyway, I help Harvek and Gorgoro tend to their wounds before returning to the Comitatus.